Welcome back, everyone. Toy Shiz here, and we're back yet again for another Neca Toys Archie Comics TMNT Adventures videos. This, after all these years, one of my absolute favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles characters finally has the action figure of the iteration that I have wanted for years. And of course, I'm talking about Wingnut and his trusty sidekick, SCREWLOOSE. Look at that artwork right there by Ken Mitch-Roney. That is amazing. And the action figure looks amazing as well. Look at the paint, the colors, the art all over the box. This is just everything that I loved about the Archie Comics TMNT Adventures series. And of course, more to come. They have more on the way, so stay tuned. We already have these for the most part, but there are more Archie Comics figures on the way. Perhaps we'll see some more at NYCC. Here's everyone involved with the creation of this figure, so thank you very much for that. And here's the barcode. These have started to kind of trickle into Walmart stores, albeit very, very minimally, but you should start to see these hit a lot more in the next coming weeks. Now, who are Wingnut and SCREWLOOSE, you ask? Well, in the terms of what we're going to be looking at today, hailing from the Archie Comics TMNT Adventures series, from we'll say the tail end of issue 7, mostly issue 8, we have the bat and the mosquito from the planet Hanu, which it's a bit of a symbiotic relationship with these bats and mosquitoes. And when you know it, Krang destroys the entire planet and basically orphans poor Wingnut, but luckily he gets stranded with his best buddy, SCREWLOOSE, and they go on many adventures along with the aid of Cuddly the Cowlick, which introduces them to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. From Stump Arena to South America, Wingnut is one of those characters that has been drawn in so many different ways over the course of the TMNT Adventures, even after his wings were crushed by that giant snake, and he went back to utilizing his old-fashioned wings, which sadly didn't last too long upon joining the Mutanimals, and then the whole future storyline, and then, oh my god, it's happening all over again. So, this is going to be an absolute blast. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is a look at the brand new Archie Comics TMNT Adventures Wingnut and SCREWLOOSE by Neca Toys. And right before we get started, I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who continues to watch my YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. Why? We have old toys, new toys, daily news updates. Guarantee you'll find something here that you like. Like a giant Batman and his mosquito sidekick. Of course, you get the parallel, Batman and Robin. Just another Batman, I think they would say. But yes, here's everything out of the packaging, and I'm liking what I'm seeing here. The colors on this really pop. Now, you do get a ton of extra hands, item holding hands, including a rock holding hand. That's going to be very integral. And I like the purple color scheme. Of course, that's a bit of a wink and a nod to the original look for Batman with the purple gloves. And I love that they gave him the throw-in rock. Now, in most cases, toy companies would just go, here's your rock. But in Neca Toys' case, they really put in the extra woik. They put in those little fine artistic details all over the rock, which just elevates it. They don't got to do that kind of stuff, but they do it, and that's what makes their TMNT items stand out amidst all of the rest. We then have SCREWLOOSE. SCREWLOOSE looks so good, so perfect. He's the right height. He's got the green boots. He's got the wings. He's got his little tiny stinger tail right there. And the nose is very key for those of you who are not in the nose. In order to calm down Wingnut in some situations, and that harkens back to the symbiotic relationship between the two species, SCREWLOOSE is able to calm down / allow Wingnut and his species to sleep, while Wingnut's species provides blood to the mosquitoes. And again, it's that zigzag look with the nose, the mask, the eyes, the teeth. He looks creepy, but indeed, SCREWLOOSE has a heart of gold. But I love the hair right here, especially on the little doot in the back. There's hair on that as well. He's gross, but it totally works, and he's got little spikes all over him. As for the wings, there is minimal articulation. At least they move around, and they're not stagnant, but they have some nice paint to detail out the rest of the wing. You get some head articulation. You got some looking down action, but not so much a looking up. That's the one thing, and I'll talk about that with Wingnut as well. You got some arm articulation and then glove articulation, so it'll rotate, but nothing in the actual hands. You're going to utilize the gloves. You got a little bit of the weight waist. The waist will come apart. I'll show you all that in just a second. Legs, nothing at the knees, nothing at the boots, but the feet will rock and move up and down as well. No peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Now, he comes apart at the waist, and that's where this part will come in handy. And it's basically just screw loose in a seated position. So it's really easy to just twist, pop off, and reinsert whatever part you want at the moment. And yeah, you get him in a totally cool seated position. More on that in just a second. Now, the highlight of the show is, of course, Wingnut himself. That head portrait personifies the character, the zaniness, the wackiness. That is Wingnut. But the purples, the blues, you got peg holes on the bottom, the armor pieces, the belt, the gloves, everything just looks so cool. Like I said, he's Batman in the TMNT universe, but we loves him for it. Now, up close, the eyes. You can see all the veins with the eyes. Yes, that nose is something else, and we can all see it. They didn't call him Dick Nose for nothing back in the day, but I love the tongue. The tongue is amazing with the paint, with the saliva. That is awesome. I love the way that they did that. All the little black accents to the paint, the backside, not much going on, but you get to see the wings. They painted all the rivets and the plates. You have the seat right there on the back for old Screw Loose, the little white mirror piece right there that was always in the artwork. The wings are easily removable, but they do stay on sturdy, so that's nice. You even see the little handles right there for the wings. So that all works. That's very comic accurate. And you could say in the many ways that Wingnut was drawn, sometimes you saw his real wings, sometimes you didn't. I'm to assume that they are under this armor somewhere, but we'll leave it at that. It gets to be kind of ugly like the old Playmates figure and whatnot. That's good for the Playmates, but for the Archie series, let's keep it the way they did this. The only qualm that I have is that I wish he looked up a little bit more, just to kind of get him more in that flying position. But you can utilize the ab crunch to help in that, but just a little bit more in the head would have been lovely. Do heat up the joints. That's something I haven't said for a while when looking at certain NECA Toys figures, but for Wingnut, specifically in the legs, maybe in the shoulders, we'll just say go easy, but yes, always heat them up just to be on the safe side. You do have double jointed elbows, you have some bicep, you've got some hand articulation. Like I said, with the head not going all the way back, he does have a pretty decent ab crunch. You can get him going all the way back and pretty good going forward, so no problemos there. The belt you can move around, it's not glued in, but like I said, just to kind of get him more in that position of flying and looking around, it seems to work okay. Now, right here, like I said, the legs, those will move around, but the knees on mine were very stuck. So stuck that you're probably not going to see them move in this video. So just keep that in mind when moving them around. And of course, the feet, they'll go up and down and rock and peg holes. And yeah, the paint on everything about this guy. He just is absolutely so cool. But like I said, when you have Screw Loose in the seated position, you have this little chair element to Wingnut's wings. He fits in there beautifully. The tail in the back slips into the hole, and that looks cool. So I totally dig that. You get him flying around. He's not going to stay in there. That's the only problem. There's no way to kind of clip him in, but you give Wingnut the rock, and you get him flying around. A flying stand would have been appreciated. That would have been a nice pack-in, just saying. Also, a rock for Screw Loose to hold would have been cool as well. Now, I know you can go out in the backyard and get yourself a rock if you'd like, but it's just things like that. But the other thing, in order to hook Screw Loose onto the back, not in a seated position if you want to stand Wingnut up, is to just get him with his legs, and then he just basically holds onto the wings. It's really easy to attach him. There's no right or wrong way. He just kind of holds onto the back, and that's really what you see in the artwork. And that's what NECA Toys has done a fantastic job in doing in bringing this character to life. Because this is what I have always wanted to see. It's beautiful. They did such a great job. This is an art piece to have these two characters, rock in hand, wings, everything else. It is amazing. Now, as of this video's creation, we have not yet been given a Archie Comics Turtles 4-pack or singles or anything like that, other than the Stump Wrestling Turtles. So that's the stand-in right now, although Raphael is certainly the figure to have if you want to have that whole Archie Comics look. But Wingnut and Screwloose definitely go well with these turtles. It's all about the expressions. So that will wrap it up for my quick look at the brand new NECA Toys Archie Comics TMNT Adventures, Wingnut and Screwloose. And I gotta tell you, again, from reading these issues as a kid, from TMNT to Mighty Mutanimals, April O'Neil, and everything else in the bunch, to have the Mighty Mutanimals, minus Leatherhead, because we really don't have him yet, minus the stump wrestling, but this is basically what Leatherhead looks like in the Archie comics anyways. From Dreadmon to Mondo, Jaguar, Man Ray, Wingnut, Screwloose, Leatherhead, man oh man. That is just so cool. My hat's off to you, NECA Toys. These are the toys, these are the looks that I have wanted to see for years, and Wingnut and Screwloose will make another great addition to your Mighty Mutanimals Archie TMNT Adventures lineup. So you've heard my thoughts, and now I'm curious to know yours. And until the next one, I'll leave you guys with that. Adios.